Fantastic. Hey, Mr. Subin. How you doing today? I lost 2 friends. I had 297 friends yesterday. Today I've got 295. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Interesting. Lots of engagement here. But I can't focus on that. I need to eat breakfast and work. I've got a limited amount of time once again. 2 hours and 45 minutes today. I want to do some work here and then go on with that one. Right, Hey Lang released a new album and I haven't checked it out yet. I keep meaning to and I haven't, so I'm gonna check it out now. I've definitely caught another cold. I think my nose is going. I'm hoping that it can give me a bit of time and space. I woke up this morning with an infected snot. That's how I'm doing. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks big time. I've got like a lentil and potato and other veggies as a stew on some toast. I just had a gnarchi and some coffee. Yeah. What you having for breakfast? A Consumer Society product? Which one? Mmm. Mmm. We call that Cocoa Pops. Yeah, we do. We got many different brands with different names, but the most popular and most expensive is Kellogg's Cocoa Pops. But I don't eat cereal. Haven't eaten cereal for a long time. Like occasionally I'll have some cornflakes, but like it's been a real long time since I made a habit of eating cereal for breakfast. And it's not like it was a health choice or anything, it was like I was a laborer on a building site, and I was trying to make my diet as energy efficient and as cost efficient as possible at the same time. And I was just at some point I was like, cereal just ain't gonna cut it anymore. And I've never really gone back. Yeah. I woke up this morning and I looked out the window and I saw my cousin walking around in the yard next door, eating a bowl of cereal. Yeah, I do, for sure. And there's like no set amount, you know. It's up to you on how much you're able to spare. But yeah, I'm definitely doing readings for tips today. I always do. Cool. As you can hear, I'm not the only one who's got the sniffles. Okay, here's that new song that I was waiting for. Thank you so much. So last night when I was doing tarot readings, Queen of Discs came into the chat and offered to send some Reiki to help me with the sniffles or whatever, and the recovery from the detox recovery from smoking. And she said she would send it in like a couple hours. I said I'd probably be in bed or making music or something. And I was in bed at the time. But like I could see her. I could see someone sitting by a lake, and I could like feel them talking to me. I could like feel this. Yeah, it was really interesting. I could like feel when I'm doing Reiki and I summon up all the feelings of compassion and gentleness and love in my heart, and then channel that, I could feel the same kind of frequency was happening, and it was coming from this individual. And I realized, hey, this is Queen of Discs Reiki energy. And like immediately my nose stopped running. Until then I was blowing, and immediately my nose stopped running and I was able to sleep. And I woke up this morning, my nose still wasn't running. It was only after I got up that it started again. I thought that was really interesting. I didn't expect anything less, but like, still interesting. I saw that at like 12 a.m. she sent a message asking for feedback on whether or not I felt anything, or whether we are any kind of feedback, and I was asleep by that time. But it just reminds me that I must send her feedback. Because for her it's like 2 a.m. in the morning now. So I can't send feedback now. I'll tell her, hey, I'm streaming. It's not gonna work. Well, she'll get it in the morning when she wakes up. Like you're wishing me a speedy recovery, I have no doubt that I'm going to be all good, and by the end of today, by tomorrow morning, I'm going to be all good. Because I'm still going to be applying my own healing current, and now it's like double trouble, double healing power. That's no good. There's like a line across the page. Don't know where it comes from really. But as I'm like, you know, if you've got a coin behind the page and you like rub on it, you get the coin markings. It's kind of what's happening here, but it's like a straight line from top to bottom. Fantastic. And it'll be 3 paragraphs. Hectic. Okay. Bimal, welcome. It's the first time I see your name here. Welcome, welcome. Bingo! Thank you so much, Exclaim, for the tip. And you know that gets you, yeah, that gets you my attention. Not that you have to do much to get my attention. But yeah, I'll give you that reading that you asked for. Okay, so you have a student. And you're going to ask this question on his behalf because his father gave you permission. Okay. This is very interesting. He succeeded every exam except for mathematics. Actually, he's scared. He's scared of this course because he told me he's afraid of not understanding. His emotional part told me that something bad would happen if he is in front of something he doesn't understand. It is important to know he had an abusive mother. I'm talking past tense because he's cut ties with her. she had psychopathic tendencies. For example, she punished him when he was a child because he came back with a score of 9 out of 10. Sounds familiar. He had to stay in a corner for half an hour. Sounds fucking familiar, man. Sorry he's going through that or went through that. I also know that she, at least, bore him out when he was not able to understand something during his homework. Also sounds familiar. The thing is that he doesn't remember everything from this period because he has the ability to cut ties with traumatic memories. I wanted to ask on his behalf, what would be the bad thing that would happen to him if he doesn't understand? Is there something useful to know to help him? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, that does sound familiar. Like, I would get into a lot of shit if I didn't get A's, if I didn't score above 90% in any subject. Didn't matter if it was math or any other subject. Your pass wasn't good enough. I had to, be in the top. I don't need his name, although it is useful. On Discord, okay, cool. Yeah, got it. Okay. And so, like, what's already coming up for me is like there's like some kind of trauma response to not understanding because of being punished for scoring low or for making simple mistakes and then being overly punished for it. I know that feeling. So when he looks at the math and he's struggling to understand it, he's going into like a panic, and then his brain like shuts off and he's not able to make sense of what is being explained to him. What was the key to overcoming it in my situation? Well, let's find out what the spirits have to say. Maybe by the time that I've answered the question, then it will come to me. Okay, let's see. Six of Cups in reverse. The Hermit in reverse. Seven of Wands. And Nine of Cups. Okay. So the Six of Cups in reverse in the present, that is like an intimidation. It's feeling intimidated by what other students are doing in the class. Like feeling inadequate, feeling like everyone around him is doing better than him. Feeling like everyone is smarter than him, able to understand things he's not able to. There's like a fear of being dumb, a fear of being stupid. And having that affirmed when other students like mock him or tease him, or whatever, family members tease him. If he gets bad score, then being teased or challenged on that topic. The Nine of Cups here that's crossing it talks a lot about what I was describing, you know, having these like traumatic emotional responses coming up when he's looking at the sums and the problems on the page, and then he's got this traumatic things that are coming up as he's not understanding it, and it like overwhelms him, and his brain gets all foggy and he like can't make sense of anything that's going on, and like the more he can't understand, the more panicked he's getting. This card, when it comes up for me, it always talks about letting that out, having to face those feelings instead of trying to hide from it, instead of pushing it to one side and pretending like it's not happening, you know, to express it. And what that looks like is, you know, bawling, crying, sitting under the table, covering my head and rocking. It's like it's a big emotional flood that happens with this card. He needs to let it happen. You know, when he's feeling intimidated by what others are doing around him, or when he's being teased, it hurts him, it hits home, it hits his heart much deeper than it seems to from the outside, and he ignores it, he pretends like it's not happening. He needs to take that and express it, you know, he needs to scream, he needs to cry, he needs to write down all of those hateful, angry feelings at the people who are teasing him. The Hermit card in reverse in his conscious mind says that there are things that he's doing, there are habits he has and things that he's doing that are not serving, that are not helping him get through this. It's like, sure, his mother did abuse him, she was a little bit psychotic, she would over-punish him. So there are environmental factors that are affecting the situation and affecting his ability to focus during math class. But there are also things that he's doing. I don't know what that looks like. It's like not facing this Nine of Cups. So then he feels that in class and he just zones out and daydreams. Or he's reached a point where he's like decided he's not going to even try, he's just going to daydream. Or he's just going to doodle on the page or something and wait for it to pass, instead of saying to himself, okay, at some point I need to overcome this obstacle and do better. Instead he's like, I'm just gonna let it float on by and I'm not gonna pay much attention. So this card, it says that what should be going on for him now, he's pretty young, so you know, when we're young we don't really do all of the self-reflection, but it's saying here that he needs to go to the root. You know, when he's sitting there and he's getting frustrated and he's getting these trauma responses, he needs to look at it and be like, okay, why am I feeling this way, and why are these emotions telling me to do this thing, and follow it, you know, and then go back to those moments and be like, okay, I'm scared that my dad is going to get angry at me like my mom used to, and he's going to punish me disproportionate if I don't understand. So that's the bad thing that he's afraid is going to happen. He's afraid that there's going to be punishment if he doesn't understand. He's afraid there's going to be disproportionate punishment, like it's his fault that he doesn't understand. And so he like dissociates, and he can follow that, you know, he can follow it to its root, and he can unpack it for himself. But this card in reverse is like he's not even prepared to follow it, he's not even prepared to face it. He looks the other way and he's like, nope, it's just something bad's gonna happen and that's that, so I can't. Instead of being like, okay, let me explore this and understand why I feel this way. Seven of Wands. Okay, so the Seven of Wands is saying that he's already got this idea in his head that he's never going to need math to succeed. What he wants out of life, what he wants to create with his life, and the things that he's passionate about don't involve math. This is in his unconscious. It's an idea that he came up with one evening while he was sitting in bed or whatever, and it's become like a foundation stone in his mind that he doesn't need it, so it doesn't really matter. He can create the things that he wants with the subjects that he's automatically good at. He doesn't need to try extra hard. I know that feeling. I was there as well. I see that this Seven of Wands is what has turned the Hermit upside down. You know, if he didn't have this idea in his head, then he would be self-reflecting. If he didn't have this idea in his head, he wouldn't feel so insecure or so intimidated by the success of those around him. And this is in his unconscious. He doesn't even acknowledge that he has this idea in his conscious mind. He doesn't even say, like, if you ask him about it and you question him, he's not going to say, oh, I've decided that I just don't need math to create the future I want for myself. He won't acknowledge that. He won't say it because it's in his unconscious. It's like an idea that he decided a while ago and he's actually like forgotten about it, but it's become a foundation stone in his decisions and his course of action in the present. Something recently knocked down his tower, and that is probably the fact that he has failed at math. This card is believing in himself, believing that he can accomplish something that he can't actually accomplish, believing he's capable of something that he's not actually capable of. Like basing his identity around being smart and then, you know, failing math, and then that challenges his idea of himself being smart. He's like, oh shit, I couldn't even pass math. I'm obviously not that smart. And that's what leads to the Six of Cups reverse and the Hermit reverse. He used to think he was pretty fucking smart and had it all figured out, and then he didn't pass, and that's like, oh shit, what's going on? And he doesn't see how he could do things better. Hermit reverse. Doesn't see how he could change things. He doesn't see what his part to play is in the failure. At the same time, he's very angry at himself. Like the way his mother would get angry at him when he would fail, he is angry at himself like that. Like he feels like he deserves to be punished for not understanding. And that's also, it's rooted in the fact that he was punished by his mother and others for falling short, so he holds himself to that same standard now. And he doesn't need to, you know, he could turn that. He doesn't need to hold himself to those standards. He can recognize that those are unrealistic standards and that it's okay to fail sometimes, and that you just got to learn. You got to take responsibility. This card all about responsibility, seeing your own part to play, and then, you know, moving forward with more grace and more understanding in the future. This Tower card presents him with a choice that he can either, you know, acknowledge the areas that he fell short, acknowledge that he's holding himself to unrealistic standards, acknowledge that he has this idea in his mind that he doesn't actually need to work all that hard. He can acknowledge that he's been believing that he's capable of things he's not capable of, that he's been basing his identity around something that's insecure. He can acknowledge these things and, you know, move forward with more secure identity, or he can justify it and blame the environment and say, oh, it's this thing and that thing and my mom and I'm afraid something bad's going to happen, and these all justify me in continuing to believe in my insecurities. He's got that, you know, he's got that choice to make, and there isn't really much that we from the outside can give him unless you can somehow broach this idea that needs to change. This idea in his subconscious is affecting him. If you can somehow make him acknowledge that math is going to be useful, even if it's not required to create the future that he wants to create, math is still going to be useful to him, you might be able to click that in place. If you can get him to acknowledge that he has a part to play in his failures, you know, it might click that into place. Self-responsibility, that he's got to face his shadow instead of running from it or hiding from it, and that only he can face his shadow. And he's got you and he's got his dad to help him, but he's got to do it, you know. and maybe encourage him to express his feelings rather than to box it up, you know. When people are ridiculing him or whatever goes on that triggers him and hurts him deeply, if like that idea that it's okay to express it in a creative and constructive way, that can also help big time. Nine of Swords is in the future. Nine of Swords in the future is that's acknowledgement. That's acknowledging what he can do better in regards to his studies. Swords is all about the intellectual growth, intellectual realms, growth, study, education, and nine is that self-reflection and self-acknowledgement, self-responsibility. So this in the future here is that he can and will, with the right guidance, he can and will acknowledge what he can do to, you know, improve his school world, his school life, his marks, and the efficacy of his learning. At first it's going to feel overwhelming, like he's going to wake up in the morning, once he's come to this conclusion that he's got to take responsibility for his own education. That was the key for me, by the way. It was when I took responsibility for my own education. I was homeschooled most of my life, so at a certain point I became responsible for learning. I had to do my own work, mark my own work. Only my exams got marked by someone else. And it was that shifting, giving myself all the responsibility for my learning that really clicked things into place. So once he takes responsibility for his own education and stop waiting for others to hold him responsible, like his dad or his mom, it's going to feel overwhelming. Like he'll wake up in the morning feeling like there's too much. The goals are too much. Like, oh my God, this day is already so full. I'm responsible for so many things and I've already dropped 3 of them. But he will adapt with time and perseverance and patience. He will adapt and he'll carry more and he'll get stronger. And yeah, he does need guidance along that road from his father and from other family members and from you and perhaps other students in the class. So the guidance that could be offered or should be offered, the focus should be on expressing his emotions, you know, not bottling up his difficult feelings, expressing it in some kind of creative form, whether that is art or writing or whatever it is, expressing what he's going through in some kind of creative form. Self-responsibility, facing his shadows instead of hiding from them, you know, acknowledging where these feelings come from, where these triggers come from in his past and in his present. And reprogramming this subconscious idea that he doesn't need to work very hard, that all of the stuff he's learning at school or math specifically is actually useless, that reprogramming that idea. So giving him cool situations or cool scenarios, practical scenarios that would help him see, you know, the practicality of understanding math and how that improves life. I'm trying to give an example. I'm trying to think of an example. Because there are various points in my own life where math has served me really well. Where it's not related to like accounting or your typical understanding of where math would be applicable in your life, but yeah, I'm trying to think of an example. Like building the solar rig. All those little squares on the solar panel are little battery cells. Well, they like little battery cells. They have a positive and a negative. They have an amperage and a voltage. And they're all connected in parallel. And when you connect things in parallel, that increases the amp. It multiplies the amp. But yeah, keeps the voltage the same. And then when the panels are connected to the batteries are connected in series, which doubles the voltage but keeps the amps low. And so then you've got 2 battery packs both connected in series. It was a good example where, you know, multiplication and division came in pretty useful. Where it's like not really related to career, but it helps me out in my personal life, and it's like It's a sense of accomplishment that comes with it. So little examples like that, or little practical applications that will like click him into realizing that math doesn't have to be necessary. It can still be, what is the word I'm looking for? It can still be an advantage, even if it's not a necessity. Creative expression of his emotions, self-responsibility, and challenge this idea. Challenge the idea that math and school and education isn't necessary. Challenge it. I hope that equips you, and feel free to, you know, share this video or that snippet of it with his dad, or even with him, or both, if you like. And thank you. Twitch is well done. You mean the ability to make clips? Clips are cool, yeah. This video is on YouTube, so the clips you can't cut the entire. I see, but yeah, it is on YouTube, so you can, yeah, you can give it that marker, you know, where it starts. When you click on share, you can choose where to start it in the video, which is pretty neat. For sure. So I see that my mission to become the world's most renowned and sought out mystic and sorcerer is, you know, coming into fruition. Thanks to your help and your referrals. and you're most welcome. I'll do my best. Time to go. Must be by his house in 20 minutes. I'm not even washed. You too. Have a nice day. And thank you so much for your support and for dropping by. Kirti Sharma. So I don't do free readings when I'm drawing, but if you need to get a reading, then you can send a tip of any amount and I will do a reading for you. Like Exclaim was just here. He needed a reading. It was quite urgent, so he was prepared to send a tip, and so I gave him a reading. So, you know, I understand that sometimes it's very necessary, you need it. It's like he needed to get a reading on with regards to one of his students, and it was quite urgent because he was seeing his student in 20 minutes. So yeah, if it's urgent for you, please send a tip. Otherwise, you can find me here tomorrow doing free readings again. My PayPal link is in the description in case you're looking for it. Otherwise, you can type Exclaim !links to get all of the links directly in the chat. My social links and all of that. I think. I'll have to check it and make sure. Yeah, !TIP, !tip will get you the link. And there's a bunch, you know, like Exclaim offerings, Exclaim tip, Exclaim Facebook, Exclaim tweet, Exclaim giveaway, Exclaim Insta, Exclaim Discord. If you want a list of all those commands, you can type Exclaim links. In my dreams last night I was singing. I was singing without words, just singing like vocal percussive sounds. Hey, hey, ah, hey, hi, oh, ah, stuff like that. And I was being challenged the whole time, like, I was really expressing myself and I was having a joy, but every time I did it, someone was like, why you do that? Why you sing without words? Someone had something to say every time. Pretty interesting symbol. Someone always had something to say about what I was singing and why. Even though I thought it was fantastic. So it talks to me about the past mainly, not so much the present, although it does still exist in the present. Of like being challenged every time that I express myself creatively, whether that's through drawing or dance or art, or someone always had something to say like, why do you do it that way or not that way? And it always made me feel insecure, like it wasn't good enough. Like no one could ever say, oh wow, you dance well, you sing well. Okay, people did say that, but most of the time people were always asking, why do you do this differently? And I realize now, as an adult and in the present, that those people who were asking about those things, it's because they had never felt confident to express themselves creatively because of those things. You know, if they're asking me, why do you sing without words? It's because they felt they couldn't sing if they didn't have words to sing. And if they were saying, why do you dance that way or do that with your body when you dance? It's because they felt like they couldn't dance unless they were conforming to a specific standard. And the same with drawing. Why do you draw like that? Why don't you use color? And again, it's like because they didn't feel like it was worthwhile drawing, or that it was valuable to try and draw if you couldn't use color. And it's the same with any of those questions. It was more about their own limitations. They were trying to understand why I don't limit myself the same way they do. What frees me, you know? What do I use to justify breaking through the limits? And the dream was also kind of showing me that I don't need to, you know, if I'm enjoying myself singing, then I'm enjoying myself singing. I don't need to answer to anybody. I don't have to answer any of those questions. I'm singing for myself, not for others, you know? I'm expressing myself because that's what my spirit calls me to do, not so that someone else can have pleasure. It's so that I can have pleasure and express myself to the divine. Like this art piece, for example, perfect example. I'm not drawing this for anyone. This is not a commission. I'm drawing this for me. I'm creating a collection of drawings of owls and other night birds because I want to do that, because, you know, I venerate the night bird Lalit. So it's something that I want to do as like a show of appreciation and veneration and reverence, recognition and admiration to the night bird. the wings of the night bird, I feel secure and sheltered beneath her wings. Like it's a place that I can retreat to when I'm overwhelmed, or when I feel like there is chaos getting closer and approaching from every direction, or if I feel like I'm being oppressed or others are seeking to take sabotaging action against me, I can just retreat beneath the wings of my mother, my divine mother. When the night is darkest, I can just hide beneath her wings. For she has no predator. She is the biggest hunter of the night. Sometimes when we're feeling so afraid and panicked and oppressed and stressed, it like just makes things worse, we can't focus, and the more we can't focus, the more afraid and panicked we get, and it's just this vicious circle. And in those moments then I go into the temple of Lilith and I lay before her altar and I cry. I just cry and I ask to be held and sheltered beneath her wings. And I just focus on my breathing. And I listen to the sounds of nature around me. And my heart begins to rest. And when I'm resting like that, when the fear is just set at ease for a few minutes, then suddenly I can see clearly and I can feel clearly and I understand what I must do, and I feel the strength to do it. And so I give thanks, I give thanks to the Spirit of the Divine Mother. I thank her for sheltering me beneath her wings and giving me that retreat and that security. Sometimes when I'm in that temple space, the crows come. And they come and they sit in the trees and they watch me. They just sit there and watch. 1 and then 2 and then 3. Sometimes the snakes come too. vipers, deadly vipers come, and they just sit there and they watch. They like sit and mourn with me or cry with me. Not always, but in my darkest moments, you know, in the most intense moments of my life, I often talk about summoning up emotional energy. I relive those moments, and it's during those dark moments, those intense, both positive and negative experiences, that the wild creatures will come and sit in the temple with me, the snakes and the crows. It's like they can feel it as much as I can feel it. Sometimes the owls come too, but I have different altars in different temples. Like my bedroom space is a temple, this office working space is a temple, this desk is an altar, here is the shrine. And like during ritual, in the past when I've been engaged in ritual, while summoning and invoking the spirit of Lilith, and then owls, you know, many owls flocking to the house. Not immediately, one at a time. I hear, oh, there's an owl just outside the window on the telephone pole. Oh, there's another one on the electricity wire. It's like a chorus of owls. At some point. It's highly synchronous. And highly unusual. And so, you know, a lot of people say, well, how do you develop your relationship with the spirits like this? How do you become friends with Lilith? How do you engage the fairies of the forest? And, you know, it starts out like nothing. It starts out as you're crazy. You just go to the forest and you leave offerings, you build altars, and it's like you're crazy. There's no way to prove that you're interacting with any kind of non-corporeal entities. And you just do it, you know, it becomes ritual, it becomes traditional, and then, you know, years pass and you start to see synchronous things and weird things start happening, like owls flocking to your temple when you're busy performing a ritual. Or you're having an emotional breakdown and the snakes and the crows are coming to like mourn with you. When you start to see glowing orbs after dark, or you see strange things like flowers blooming at sunset and weavers chirping in the middle of the night. It's like building a relationship. It's like you're saying, hey, I know you're here. I believe you're here, even if you're not going to show yourself to me. And I'd like to be friends. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna demonstrate friendly nature and character to you, and I'm just going to trust that at some point you're going to show yourself to me and you're going to start being my friend. And it is so. And you talk to them, the spirits, every time that you go into their presence. You'll be like, okay, I recognize that the spirits are here. or that I can communicate with them when I come into this space. And so you do. When you're in that space, you communicate with them, whether you feel like they're hearing you or not. And after a while, eventually they start replying. But it's a relationship. It's not just they're not just going to talk to anyone. You have to build a relationship with them. You have to keep coming back, show that you're committed, that you're real, that you're not fake, and that you're not out to serve yourself only. I saw some real interesting things in my own tarot cards yesterday when I was reading for myself. You can find it at the end of the last video that I uploaded, if you're interested. Basically what I'm thinking of now that I'm thinking of is really interesting is the Two of Swords cards in the position of the future. Things that are opening up, things that have been set in motion, things that are going to come to pass because of actions and intentions that have been set in the present. And that Two of Swords, it talks about harmony and peace and reconciliation. And that's in various aspects of the life, because swords is about intellect and skill and education. So it's like learning to let skills complement one another. It's learning to let different aspects of education and skills work together to complement one another and create wealth. But more than that, it's also talking about creating harmony or coming to resolutions, where there's conflict in relationships, particularly towards like philosophical and religious understanding or worldview. It's like finding resolution or like compromise, peace. The card is literally called Peace, although I usually don't pay any attention to the names of the cards. I usually just pay attention to the numbers, because 2 is about potential. It's like potential for abundance, and Swords is about intellect and education and skill sets and realms of the mind. So I usually just take in the numerology and the element, because Swords is representative of air. But I feel like the name of that card is quite apt when you consider what the meaning of the numerology is along with the element. It's quite an apt name, Peace. Do da da, do do, la la da 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 la da. This is definitely going to be a cover photo. My cover photo needs to be updated, and this will be my cover photo. Because that other cover photo scares people away. I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces, but it scares people away. Lol. It's probably a good thing. You know, it's kept the frequency pretty much contained, meaning that I'm like only attracting like-minded individuals, not petty individuals. And the petty individuals take one look at my profile and they unfollow. Yeah. So, for that reason, it's been useful, but I think it's time to move on. Because that's been my cover since I started out here. But damn, this song is good. I know, I know. Okay, I'm gonna switch the music up quickly. Whoops. Wrong scene, right? Tua tua Anna tua tua. Anno Anna tua tua Hu ha Anno Anna tua tua. Shit, I went over the line. It's quite a bit over there. It's okay, when I shade the rocks in the background it'll disappear. This is background. Only the owl is foreground. Different layers of background, I guess. We got these trees here, which are the midground, and the rocks, which is like second midground, and then stars and moon, which is like distant background. I guess everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, right? In the timing that it's supposed to happen. Okay, so I'm gonna step away from this piece now, and I'm gonna do the other one. My focus was bad there, wasn't it? So yeah, I've got a waterfall that's pouring over the edge of a cliff. Cliff face, moon in the background. It's going to be a starlit sky. That's a waning gibbous that we've got there. Pardon me. And this here is yeah, it's a portrait. I've only just begun with this portrait.
pues
Undefined, laugh my ass off. I think I'm like pretty defined at this point, bro. But thanks anyway. Da, 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 da. This is our, just hang on. This is our model that we're busy drawing here. I'm gonna have to mute my mic quickly. Is it good enough? Is it good enough? I guess I can only tell once I've put the eyes in, right? I think it's good enough, eh? I like it. I do. I like it a lot. So far. So, if that's there, and that's there, yeah, right there like that. Is it high enough or should it be lower? I can't really tell. Yeah, it should be. No, it's fine like that, right? No, it needs to be more arched. Oops. Put some spit on the page. No. Okay, so we go like that. Okay, angle. Straight. Straight. Almost until the edge and then angle down. That's better. From about here. Yeah. And we've got a little crease here. Got a little crease there, yeah. And a little crease above it as well. It comes straight into the center. It's a bit darker on the outside. And da 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 do do da 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 do da da. Okay, so I feel like I need to change the hairline a bit. Need to bring it slightly over this way. close enough. Offset is close enough now. You can always adjust it later. That's better, much better. Yep. At about this point here, we've got jackets. Comes off. And round about here at the center we've got a zip. around about here by the lip, in line with the lip. We come out like that. And there's a line that drops in immediately, crease from around about here, crease comes out. That's the shoulder. It comes around just like that and then begins to drop inward, and there's like a crease over here. And it continues, and there's a crease here, and that's that. And around about where about here there's a curve, t-shirt curve. Curves, and then it like kind of levels out. Got some creases here in the neck. Got a Nike tick on the shirt. There's some creases that run from the neck, from the neckline, like that and like that. Yep, that's good. The jacket comes slightly this way, creases nicely, and then starts coming downward at an angle like that. And then it turns outwards and there's zip over there. Right here next to your shoulder there is a nice crease that goes from this curve here. It comes straight and then it curves around in like an S shape. Da, 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 da. And there's a straight line there that comes over the shoulder directly. And this is the point where there's a crease into the underarm section. It's really dark and shaded there because that's the underarm. It's the start of the underarm. Okay, nice. see Zipper over here as well. Zipper coming around the corner. La da 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 da. La da da la da da da. La da da la da. What kind of progress have we made here? Damn. That nose is going to need some work. Need to bring it over slightly. Change the perspective. Because I've changed the whole perspective, everything about this perspective has shifted, so I need to shift the nose as well. I got 15 minutes. See if I can correct that noise before I end the stream. My nose just won't come clean. Getting somewhere. Getting somewhere, y'all. Da 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 do 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 da 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 do 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 da 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 da. Da 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 do 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 da 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 da. Okay, we're done. We're out of time. Internet's going off any second. Power is gonna run out any second. The nose is still not quite the way I'd like it to be, but we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Okay. And I'm out.